Now, I don't really want to do this, okay, because this is torture. But since I'm a Trimet groupie, I'm going to do it. We're gonna do this in segments, painful, torturous segments of each person's speech, one by one. So this will be part one. Where's it?
We're gonna get you to another one rides the bus. I have born coffee in my hand and a podcast in my ear. There's enough new episodes to last me for a year. But I'm so comfy in my seat, I think I missed my stop. That's okay, cause I'm having fun and there's more folks coming up. Yeah! Another one.
There goes the old man in the back. This guy's got quite the act, doesn't he?
Rides the bus. Another one rides the bus. And another gets on, and another gets on, and another one rides the bus. Who's gonna sit by you? Another one rides the bus. It's their professional thing. Further up Division Street, and my face is turning blue. I haven't been in a crowd like this since I went to see the Who. Well, I should have gotten out a mile ago, but I couldn't get to the door. This accordion bus, it's so dang big, never gonna go pick up more. Hey! Another one rides the bus. Another one rides the bus. And another gets on, and another gets on. Another one rides the bus. Hey, who's gonna sit by you?
All right, well, this is really corny. I gotta hand it to Trimet. They got the corniest fucking shit sometimes. And here's our old buddy, Travis Stovall, who is now the mayor of Gresham. I told you many years ago this guy was gonna get into politics, and he did. And he won that by like 10 votes or something. And this time around, there's nobody running against him, so it's, I'm done with all the politics, by the way. I don't care anymore who wins and who loses it. They're all predators. But there he is, right next to the man. And there's, Blumenauer, of course, the man who had a bridge named after him while he was still alive, which I find completely ridiculous.
Another one rides the bus. Another one rides the bus, and another one rides the bus. Another one rides the bus, and another one rides the bus. Hey, another one rides the bus. 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 Hey. That's right. Here we go. Thank you all for making your buses look like accordions to fit more people.
Oh my God. It's fucking unbelievable. It's fucking unbelievable.
We're Paper Bellows.
We are the Paper Bellows.
Yeah.
We'll see you very soon. On the bus.
Yes. Where's the goddamn... Nobody applauded?
Thank you.
Thank you to the Paper Bellows, everybody. If we could give them...
And so look, Alstead is the master of ceremonies. Now, those of you who've been following this material a long time will know that she is one of the worst people there from my point of view, because she perjured herself to force a conviction on Lane Jensen on false charges of harassment. And those of us who were involved with that know that that was not the case. But as is always the plan, once you have the professional technocracy coordinating a campaign to get you, they get you. So they got the district attorney cooperating, and she gave false testimony. And if I had had more money, I spent like $6,000 to get him out of jail. I mean, they had his bail like ridiculous, higher than fucking real crimes. If I had more money, I would have got him a lawyer and would have fought that. But I didn't have any real money at that time, and so he ended up taking a plea bargain. And eventually, the case was dropped. So they just wanted him out of their hair, and they succeeded in getting him out of their hair, and that was all unethical as shit. And she was the major player.
Big round of applause.
Yeah, the check with our family.
And there's Sam. He got his green tie, his green napkin, and that must be a division button of some sort. And there's that. There's the two criminals, the city criminals, Harsky and Wheeler. This woman here got elected by criticizing this guy. Then as soon as she got elected, she supported this guy. And this woman is a whole nother story, which we'll get to when she gives her stupid speech. Look at that crowd, everybody. Come on, move it. Not very organized, are they? The lack of organization is even apparent here. Oh, that's the board. Come on, hurry up, move it. It appears that nobody really knows what's going on, doesn't it? Look, him. Blumenauer looks confused. Like, you see Blumenauer looking around like, where am I? What's going on here?
That one?
All right,
Okay.
Earl was like, what the hell's going on here?
I stole this one.
Yeah, it's great, huh?
She's right there.
All right, we got time.
Okay. I'm gonna call him. Can I please get everybody's attention? Thank you all so much for coming out for this. This project has been years in the making, and we're so excited to...
Can you believe she's the master of ceremony? Hard to believe.
have everybody here for the FX2.
No,
Hang on for a sec.
watch this.
If you can hear me.
Did you see the way she pushed her out of the way? Did you see that? And look at what she's going to do right now. I saw this part.
Clap twice. Can you hear me? Clap 3 times. You now have the podium.
Now what the fuck is that, Hardesty? What kind of fucking stunt is that? Why did you do that? What was the purpose of that?
Thank you all for coming out to the FX2 Division opening ceremony. We're getting the party started now with Trimet General Manager Sam Desue Jr.
Sam Desue Jr., Rippy. Let's see what he says. We'll do one speech at a time. There's going to be a whole procession of speeches here.
Good morning, Portland. Good morning. Welcome, everyone. Just want to say welcome to all of you and thank you all for being here today. I'd like to thank Portland Community College and Dr. Adrian Bennings for hosting us today at this beautiful campus. Let's give a big round of applause. Thank you. Today is a celebration.
This is why he gets big money. Because he can do this shit, man. I could never do this kind of thing. You know, this bullshit thing that he does. That's why they pay him a lot, man. They pay you to lie.
Celebration for Trimet, for our partners, our riders, and the community. The FX2 Division Grand Opening Celebration gets underway shortly along the Division Street corridor with festivals, fun activities for the whole family. It's all made possible due to the generous support from all of our sponsors, including Raymore Construction, our supporting sponsors is Light, Regency Blue Cross Blue Shield, Nova Bus, PGE, and WSP Design. Our community sponsors are Metro, Oregon Department of Transportation, Landscape Forms, Moda Health, Kaiser Permanente.
All of these are goddamn industrial complexes that exist off the citizens. Okay? These are institutions. What you see here is the institutional structure congratulating itself for this project, which I'm not particularly impressed with at all.
Mission Square Retirement and DKS Associates. I would like to say thank you to all of the sponsors. You are helping make this day memorable for our community. Thank you very much.
I'll remember this day for the rest of my life.
Also making this day memorable is our special guest, Linda Gerke. Linda is the Region 10 Administrator of the Federal
Remember her? She was at, there was something else they were doing. Eli disrupted it. I forgot what it was. The Region 10 Administrator. Who the fuck is she and why do we care about her?
Transit Administration. Regional Administrator Linda Gerke is responsible for the administrations of federal funds for public transportation in Alaska, Idaho, Washington, and here at home, Oregon.
Regional Administrator for the pork. She hands out the pork, everybody. You want to make sure she likes you, that's for sure. She's in charge of pork.
We are so honored to have you join us, Linda. In January 2020, Trimet, the FTA, and our partners kicked off the Division Transit Project. Surrounded by the colorful images reflecting the diversity, culture, and vibrant spirit of Division Street, we launched a campaign that was called A Division of Possibilities. Never has a slogan been more fitting than this. Not only
a division of possibility.
As a Division Transit made it better and possible, but also made the service that we're going to provide a faster type of bus service possible.
Yeah, that remains to be seen. We know the first day it was a disaster. They got bunched. They got stuck by the train, and it didn't really work out like they advertised, and we don't expect it to work out like they advertised.
The project transformed a high crash corridor, making it possible to safely walk.
I don't know how he comes to that conclusion, because the videos I've seen show very little actual work on the road. So I don't know. That's just bullshit. He's swinging bullshit on this one, because I didn't see any. I don't know. I haven't been there, but Rippy has gone through there with his camera and he's driving, and I don't notice anything. I don't notice any significant change to the road.
Bike and drive along and across Division Street. When a worldwide pandemic shook us to
a worldwide scamdemic, which continues to this day, because they shut everything down, they stole all the money, they increased their power and authority, and COVID's still here. Okay, so the shots, the lockdowns, none of that worked, folks, none of it. So it was not a pandemic, it was a scamdemic, because everything they did was a scam, and we know that for sure, because we're still dealing with this shit. None of it stopped it. None of it stopped the COVID. And I can't believe how many citizens got tricked into this, complying with this.
To the core, and so much seemed impossible. Raymore Construction and all of their subcontractors persevered. They showed it was possible to complete this project on time, despite pandemic-related struggles.
Yeah, right.
I want to acknowledge Jeff Moreland Sr., who joined us today on stage, and the entire team at Raymore. Not only did Raymore earn...
I mean, it's pretty odd for a government entity such as Trimet to be extolling the praises of a private business. That's the government combining with private business. You know what the literal definition of that is, right? That's called fascism. When government and business combine, and government serves the needs of businesses only, that's actually what actual fascism is. The combination of government and corporations. That's where we're living now, by the way. Not just, this is one small example of that.
The Division Transit Project contract, the largest in Oregon for a disadvantaged business enterprise, or DBE, for Raymore's dedication to providing opportunity for
Yeah, that's what they're bragging about. If you watch their media releases, they're always bragging about their biggest contract in history for disadvantaged business. And it's some kind of inclusion type thing here.
Other minority-owned DBEs made it not only possible to reach our combined goal for DBE participation, but to shadow it. Thank you, Jeff.
I mean, it's ridiculous. You're praising a private company on stage. Okay? That's not appropriate for a tax-funded agency to be advertising for a private business.
I'm thrilled to say the Division Transit Project was built for the community, by the community, with Ray Moore and the 41 other DBEs completed more than 75% of the construction to date. That's not the most, that's the most.
That's not, he is not. He's a terrible speaker. Not as bad as Front Hansen, though. But you see, he can't do it without notes.
Of any major TriMet project ever in our history.
Yippee! Why do we care? So you gave some money to a minority business for a project which has questionable value. Yippee! Why would any citizen care about this? We wouldn't. We don't care.
There's a quote by a Buddhist monk named Thich Nhat Hanh, who Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. called an apostle of peace and nonviolence. That's fitting for today. We have more possibilities available in each moment than we realize. While the Division Transit Project has realized so many possibilities, more possibilities lie ahead with the launch of Trimet Fx Frequent Express. FX is a higher tier bus service with transit signal priority, dedicated bus lanes at
the signal priority wasn't working yesterday. I wonder if it's working today.
Key locations to keep the buses moving around congestion.
And we will be watching that to see whether this is what you say it is,
rather than being stuck in it. Stations located where rider demand is greatest, shortening travel times while providing more transit connections, new investments with stations that have shelters, digital displays, and other amenities in East Portland, Commissioner Hardesty, and throughout the corridor. Platforms near level with buses, all-door boardings to reduce stop times, longer buses, room for more than 60% more riders on board, and then bicycles on board.
Yeah, only 2 bicycles. They got these big, long buses, and they still only have room for 2 bicycles. That's a great success.
FX will mean a quicker, more reliable trip between downtown Portland and Gresham, with buses running every 12 minutes.
Well, I guess you can consider that frequent. It should be 10 minutes or less for true frequent service. So they're just over the threshold of true frequent service. But it's better than 15. We'll see how this all works out. We'll be listening.
Tomorrow, Trimet launches what we plan to be our first FX line, but not the only one. The FX2 division line and the new type of bus service for our riders is only possible due to the financial support of our partners, especially the Federal Transit Administration. Half of the funding of this project, $87.4 million, came from the FTA.
Which means it came from your federal taxes. You paid for this. I paid for this. Everybody that pays federal taxes paid for this.
With Regional Administrator Gerke, I want to also thank FTA Administrator Nuria Fernandez. While Administrator Fernandez had a last-minute schedule change, we appreciate her partnership and continued support of TriMet. I also want to recognize and thank U.S. Secretary Pete Buttigieg for his support.
Oh, God. Pete Buttigieg is an empty suit, okay? There's nobody there. And the Democrats are going to foist that guy on us. They're already planning to run him for president.
For transit, especially during the challenges of the pandemic, and his keen insight of the vital role transit plays in the...
His keen insight. He doesn't know anything about transit. Nothing. He came from a small town in Indiana. He didn't know anything about it. He got a patronage job. That's what he got. Democratic Party said we need to put this guy in a job where he can get some visibility. That's where they put him.
Overall transportation system. I would also like to acknowledge all of our partners who made the Division Transit Project and our new FX service possible. So if you could just wave when I raise your hand so people will know who you are.
Can you just wave when I raise your hand? Do you what he just said? If you can just wave when I raise your hand. Poor Sam.
The Oregon congressional delegation, including Congressman Earl Blumenauer, who joins us today. Governor Kate Brown, local state lawmakers, including Senators Michael Dimbrow, Chris Gorsuch.
See, here we have the elites celebrating themselves. This is an affront to me. Okay, I would never watch anything like this, because what you're seeing here is the elite saying, "Look how great we are."
Who are joining us, along with Representatives Rick Ruiz, Omar Sandoval, and Andrea Valderrama.
Yay for them.
The Oregon Department of Transportation, including Director Chris Strickler, who's joining us today. Metro and Council President Lynn Peterson, as well as Councilors Duncan Wong, Shirley Craddock, Mary Nolan, Garrett Rosenthal.
What happened to the sound?
Thank you for joining us today. The City of Portland and the Portland Bureau of Transportation, thank you, Mayor Willer and Commissioner Joanne Hardesty, for speaking today.
What did they do to the sound? They screwed up the
Along
sound.
with Commissioners Colin Rubio, Dan Ryan, and Mega Snaps for joining us today. The City of Gresham, we appreciate Mayor Travis Stovall for being here, along with Gresham Council President Eddie Morales, Councilors Dina DiNucci, Mario Camaro, Sue Piazza, and Vince Jones Dixon. Multnomah County Chair Deborah Kafori and Commissioners Jessica Vega.
He's just rattling off a list of fucking public officials. So they're all here to get a photo op and pretend they're great, when they really haven't done shit about anything.
Peterson, Lori Stegman, whose district's the new.
Sound cut out completely. Good going, Trimet. Oh, great. Can you believe it? God. I mean, everything, they're just so incompetent on every fucking level, man. I mean, they can't even get this right.
I want to recognize my board, the Trimet board. Want to recognize the dedication of the Trimet board of directors. Vice President Lori Irish-Feilman for joining us here on stage, as well as Director Ozzie Gonzalez, Dr. Laverne Lewis, Director Kathy Way, Director Keith Edwards. Also, would like to recognize that our board president, President Linda Simmons, could not be here with us. Thank you all.
Terrible.
And also Director Thomas Kim. I want to recognize our friends at C-Tran, CEO Sean Donahue, who's back in the back as well. Thank you for your assistance. And I would like to recognize all of the Trimet staff. If you just stand up, if you're Trimet staff, please stand up.
Come on, take a shot. Take a shot.
You were instrumental in the success of this project.
Yeah.
Also, I would like to thank
Yeah, most of the people there are Trimet staff
our ATU
or related to Trimet staff.
757 President Shirley Block, who's unable to be here today.
Shirley can't be there. She's in Mexico.
I want to thank Jan Campbell, my longtime chair of our
What the fuck, man? What the fuck?
Committee on Accessible Transportation. Thank you, Jan, for being here with us today. Thank you for the CAT participation in this project here. We really appreciate it. And lastly, I want to thank all the people who live, who work, and play along Division Street. Let's give them a big round of applause. This day has been in the making for the last 8 years and would not be possible without your input, your patience.
Yeah, sure would. You just rammed it. You didn't ask anybody about this. You just said you're going to do it. You didn't conduct any polling about it. They just did it, just like Better Red. They don't ask you about it. They just do it, and then they manufacture consent, which is what this is.
And your understanding during this construction. I would like to introduce our FTA Region 10 Administrator, Linda Gerke. Linda joined the FTA Region 10 office as a community planner in 1996 and became the Deputy Regional Administrator in 1998. From 2012 to 2016, she served as the FTA Region 8.
Why do we fucking care about her? We don't care about her. Who cares about her? Nobody fucking cares about her.
Regional Administrator.
Regional Administrator. She went from this job to that job and this job. Yeah, she's on the club. She's in the club.
Denver, Colorado, before returning to Region 10 in Seattle. Regional Administrator Gerke has over 35 years of public sector experience with multiple agencies and a variety of leadership positions.
She's a career technocrat. That's who she is. She's a career technocrat. She doesn't know anything except her technocracy.
She is innovative and a proven leader, working with agencies to move the FTA's mission forward for the development and revitalization of public transportation systems. Please join me in bringing up Administrator Gerke.
Well, I've had enough of this. Just one speech at a time. I mean, that was disgraceful, wasn't it? I mean, that speech was just nothing. His speech was like, look at all of us great technocrats and politicians. Look at how great we are. Thank this person, thank everybody, thank them, thank ATU, thank division, thank them, blah, 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 blah. I mean, who would want to watch this? It's just nonsense, and I don't want to watch any more today. We'll do her speech next, but that Sam didn't do as badly as he usually does. He seemed to keep it together for the most part. He's not very skilled at public speaking, but he's very good at smiling and projecting the image. He's a very good cheerleader, which I know is important for his position. So that'll be the end of episode 1.